Welcome to The Build Line, the show where we talk about what it actually takes to build a business in construction. This podcast isn't about theory or hype. It's about real conversations with real operators. What's working, what's not, and what we all wish someone would have told us sooner.
So today's episode, we are going to have Candace and AJ Samrai on. They're realtors here in Sacramento. And
The best,
right? We talked about relationships, your reputation, hospitality, what value means. How do you add value? Because like us, there's
value.
A lot of realtors, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of contractors. So how do you set yourself up to be different from a oversaturated market of competitors?
Whether you're a realtor or a contractor or anything, the value of what you bring to the table and how it's presented is important. And that's a major theme.
Yes, a major theme. It's a great episode.
I love it.
Check it out. And we've seen the stats, we've seen the listens.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are tuning into this, like, subscribe. Everybody who listens in Fresno, California, there's a giant mess of you all. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Comments. We need comments on there.
Yes.
Write a review.
Yes. It helps out a ton for us and metrics and how the podcast is doing. So if you don't already, please like, subscribe on all the platforms that you listen on. We're from 20 to 30 sub-trades per job.
$35,000 a
We
week.
will be licensed 10 years next year.
You've mastered the trade. Now you need to master the business. Well, as realtors, tell us why you guys get such a bad rap. I mean, everybody says it. I mean, that's the first thing, right? We just started.
Right. We're just like contractors too, right? You can easily stand out, right? So I think some realtors look at the short-term game. They're trying to think about themselves and their money and maybe their situation, right, might have that knock-on effect. But when you get into a career and you realize, actually, this is my career, you start to think about the long-term and the quality of service starts to pick up, your clientele picks up, and then you start to, I'd say the ball drops a little bit more so. So it's more about intertwined with where the realtor is in life and how they're servicing their clients, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the value that you're adding. So, are you that person that someone comes into an open house and you're just following them around the whole house and you're like, what do you think of the cupboards? It's like, you don't want to come off with this, like, I don't want to say gross, like Carsman approach, but
Car salesmen make money.
Yeah, it's because it depends, right? Even that could be great. Anything with sales would be great. It just depends on how you approach it. But like, we add value. That's always our thing, is add value to our clients. Like, who are they? Maybe it's not even that this is the right heart for them. Maybe it's not even the right time to sell. Like, if we're on a listing appointment, there's been plenty of times where listening to their story, we're like, we actually don't have what you're looking for. Or maybe you don't even make sense for us as a client. So
I think the value proposition, can we just start again on that? I want to start again because I want to think about it. I need to warm up a little bit. Why do realtors get a bad rep? I would say because the industry is full of, just like this Pareto law, 20% contribute to, the 80% rule, right? Yep. I would say if you're a good realtor, you have a value system. And I always say this in everything, your value system will come across. So what does good mean to you is the level of service, the way you service your client, why your why exists. Everything will stem from that. And it's kind of like the spinal cord to your business. So the elite realtors, the top 1%, which I think we are in that bracket, will have that value system, and then we're considered good realtors. Others don't have that mindset, and it's more about where they are and how they're servicing their clients, because they might need to just do a quick deal. And like Candace said about,
you're just about the numbers, and you're not really in it for the client. You're not like have a full picture.
There's a lot of those part-timers, they're not taking it seriously. Like you said, you're in it as a business and doing business things, and they're just kind of waiting for the phone to ring. And if, maybe they're doing it for their cousin or something as well.
Right.
So that's the difference there. But I think you guys get, because that 80% is so rough, the 20 gets a little bad rap.
It's like chucking the truck in our industry.
Yeah.
Right? Is it a business? Like, we're a business, right? We have multiple employees. We have an office. We have 401k. We have health benefits. It's a business versus just, hey, I'm a guy in a truck and I got a ladder and, I'll roll up and I'll leak oil, but, it's fine. It got done, right? Like, you sold your house, but what was that experience to you? So I think when you say value, it really is the experience is really like, I think the overall. How'd you feel at the end of that?
And that's what life is about, is experience, right? So it's like, why suffer through bad experiences when the good ones are out there?
Absolutely. Or
And it's
time
not
is money,
amazing
too.
an amount of more money. You know, some people go, oh, that's more, everything. They cop it out to more money.
Right.
Doing this podcast, we've had a lot of questions come up, and the first cop out to people is more money. Everything's when they don't want to pay, or they're being cheap, or they can't see a value. They just go, "It's more money," instead of going, "I'm too cheap."
So
or,
I would always say that this goes back to our service. Is sometimes Candace just mentioned we're not right, and you folks do this brilliantly. Hey, like, I don't think we're going to be aligned here if it's all about the money, because time is also an essence, and where we work with clientele who are high-level VPs and the executives, and they run their own companies, and they're very busy folks, they value time actually more effective than the money. So now we're looking at what values system do they align to, and does that align to our business? So it's about alignment situation and assessing that from the upfront. Where realtors really get the bad rap is they're trying to wheel and deal, they're trying to get things happen, like, you know, you mentioned chucking a truck type thing. You know, he's going to fix one thing, say he can do everything, and actually he should have subcontracted that and wasn't the elite specialist. So in our field, we take on things that we know we can sell, we know we can market, and we're aligned on that value system. So it comes back to alignment and values.
Yeah. There's also the educational piece to it. So as you mentioned, a part-time agent, like, even if you've been doing this for 30 years, which we hear that all the time sometimes, you know, there's someone on the other end of it and they're like, well, I've been doing this for 30 years. I was like, 1 deal a year? Like, let me ask, you know, because there's a matter of how much volume you do too. The more things that you see, the more problems that you're into, the more solution driven you are with your clients. So when other agents act like this is a huge deal and this is on fire, you know, and we're just like, is it though? Yeah. How do we fix this? You know, and it's a different level of experience for your clients too.
Yeah. You're amazing at that. I'll give you props on that, because, you know, if someone's screaming there's a fire and you're like, wow, oh my God, you should be the calmest. Hey, let's go get the ladder. You should be the calmest in that room as a realtor. So that, again, that separates you as the problem solver. We are masters in conflict resolution. Like we always say to clients, hey, you might get a repair request, or you might have something that's going to really ruffle your fingers, but hey, don't react, respond. Take some time and really understand what this means and how close are we to the finishing line. And that's the difference, is solutions, conflict resolutions, and giving them options, not making them feel like they're pigeonholed, and showing where the options are as well.
Yeah, I think people don't think about that. And your industry is very similar to ours in that I've said this multiple times, people are passionate about two things, right? Their kids and their home. And those are the two things. We're in charge of one of them. You have to handle that with kid gloves. And more so than I think people realize that when you're dealing with people and emotions and that are tied to that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's so true. That's why my nanny, and we always say that, like, she's got the biggest responsibility in the world.
Yes.
Because when you have kids in homes, correct.
With your conflict resolution, it seems like all these realtors have a little general contractor in their back pocket. But what we see is generally that guy sucks.
Yeah, usually.
So what's the, I mean, we did more and more often that we hear, it's like, well, do they not pick good contractors? What's the deal with that? There we go back to cheap again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think the same thing with realtors. You don't know until you know. So, like, a lot of people will just go with the first person they met, or a friend's friend, or their uncle, or whatever. And again, they don't know to interview other agents. They don't know to see what goes on behind the scenes. They don't understand what a good experience is because maybe they haven't lived through it. So until someone has done like a terrible remodel or has lived through a horrible construction experience, that's when they're like, oh God, this can never happen again. And so if you guys meet someone, I'm sure all the time, right? They don't have any kind of background in that. They don't know. There's two levels. You don't really know what to anticipate for one. So it's hard because you have to show your value. You're like, you don't understand. You have it so good. There's other people out there that they don't get this, you know? So you have to kind of like educate them a little on that. But then the flip side, if you have someone that really knows what they're doing, or they had a traumatic experience, they appreciate you so much. They're like, where were you 2 years ago? You know?
We get that comment all the time.
So,
we constantly interchange our vendors. So we get a two-strike system. If we get feedback, so we do reviews of our clients. How was that experience? Was that good for you? We get the real-time feedback, even during and after the transaction. We give that feedback to the vendor, and it could be a subspecialist, etc. So we're constantly evaluating and assessing our business. We call it stop, start, continue. And then the other thing is we have the specialisms in our pocket. And if we've worked with someone, say we're on the selling side and a buyer's agent, we've seen the vendor do great work, we're going to reach out and say, hey, do you want to come work and try us as well? So I think when you said realtors are just using things to be cost effective, again, it goes back to the top realtors trying to solve solutions versus, wheeling and deal, trying to get to the finishing line and thinking of their bottom dollar for the client as well. Because sometimes saving money can lead to long-term big time cost, as overall. You can see that, right? Hey, I just got this guy in, he did some patchwork, and then you're overdoing his work, etc., etc. So we're always evaluating, we're always assessing. And then it's like a Swiss Army knife. Hey, we have a contract specialist who's a mold mediation specialist. We have a dry rot Section 1 clearance specialist. So we keep that vendor list very acute and very much tailored to what we need. So we know we can also be a solution to our clients.
It sounds like their client is your favorite client, where they've already had a bad experience. And
It is. Yeah. It makes it easier to sell yourself because it's like, this is what we're going to do. Tell me about how your last transaction went. Tell me about your last remodel. And when you hear those things, you're like, oh, I can kill it, right? That's not going to be a problem if you're my client. Yeah. And so that's my favorite to sell to because the bar's so low. Yeah. It's crazy. You're like, how did that get so sideways? Or how did that, how'd your remodel take a year? Like, there's no way. And so those are my favorite. I think to your point, it's harder to sell to somebody who hasn't had the bad experience or they don't appreciate what you do. It sets the bar so high that they don't know what that is until they go, well, they were a little expensive. We're going to use somebody else the next time. And what they don't realize is how good they had it
100%.
The first time around.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard. That's hard because you're like, well, you used me on the last,
exactly.
project and I did a really good job. Why wouldn't you use me?
Yeah.
And they have to learn
back.
that.
Yeah. Well, you lay it out so effectively. We've had clients who've worked with Tankersley and it's beautiful because you make it seamless, right? Again, it comes back to that time management. So your clientele is, hey, time and money are the equal value for myself. So we're looking at cost, but we're also looking at time. So it comes back to assessing that up front. So that's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah. So Heather, what do you use for construction management software?
Of course, Jerry. We use Buildertrend. You know that. All the alerts, all the notifications. But it's where the portal is for our subs, our clients to really go and learn everything about the job. We always tell clients that is the hub of information between your daily logs, scope changes, cost increases, how do I pay my invoices, all of those parts, pieces. The client is in that portal, can access all the information they need on their project, but also our subtrades. Our subtrades can know what's going on, view daily logs, figure out if we really making the schedule up, are we actually getting stuff done out there, pictures in real time.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, if your general contractor has Buildertrend, your subtrades get free access to it.
Correct.
And it's got all the information that we need to access projects if entered in properly by you guys. I love Buildertrend. I love being part of it. I think everybody should have it.
Yeah. So if you don't already, check it out, buildertrend.com. I think we touched on it a little bit, and we talked about value and what that value brings in those details. Share with us how you set yourself apart, right? We've talked about the value side of it and what you do, but a great example is we came to an open house and you guys had somebody out front playing live music, right? I'm like, I've never been to an open house where they had live music, but this is great. I love this. Like, tell us a little bit more about why you do that and how that just leaves that impression on a client.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to go for it? I mean, the biggest thing is experience, right? Yeah. You want to make them feel the home. People are not buying a push bike, right? They're buying a multi-million-dollar home, and we change our budgets, but we sell up to millions and millions of dollars of properties and country estates, but we want them to feel the experience. Like, oh my God, I can feel myself living here, entertaining. So it becomes an experience. It doesn't come this, here's an open house flyer, here's this. It comes more of, it's memorable, and they can see themselves living there. Also, they stay longer. So you get to engage with them, you get to interact with them, and then they actually kind of loosen up a little bit, and you can have a bit more interaction to see, hey, does this house work for you? And then you kind of decide and kind of guide the conversation with them and see what they're really looking for. So
yeah, I mean, truly, I think that we're storytellers. So you're setting a scene that someone can visualize themselves living in, and you want them to feel comfortable enough through that. So, and I think that that is part of being that we are in the higher end. We're in the luxury division, so majority of our homes are between the $1 and $3 million price point. That's really truly our bread and upwards too. With like, we have appointment today is for 5, but I'd say our bread and butter is between 1 and 3. And in that environment, when a client comes, you want them like to visualize themselves there. We had kind of a similar thing. We held a house open. It was an evening twilight event, and we had a couple come through, and it was very picturesque, like park-like setting. It was beautiful, and they loved the house and wrote an offer because they saw themselves getting married there. So it ended up becoming a multiple offer situation, which is great. You know, our job is to create as much activity and as much traction behind the home, and marketing is one piece. Obviously, price makes a big decision too. But
yeah, your marketing budget changes. But I think it goes back to, sorry to interject, but more so again is what changes the difference of, okay, I've got a luxury agent who's not just going to throw it on the MLS, take a few pictures, and then get, you know, upwards of $60,000.
That's what everybody thinks,
right?
Yeah.
It's not that. It's like, okay, let's look at where your buyers are going to come from. Let's create an experience here. And that also allows us to divert and open the buyer pool up. We do YouTube ads, we do Meta. We're able to position the storytelling, and that comes with the experience. So, okay, you've seen it now on Meta and you come here, and then there's live music. So it all correlates and it all comes together.
Yeah. And so also, too, I think like not every one house is the same. So for you guys in your job, when you go in it, there's just so many different factors to it that you're taking into consideration. But we've never marketed one house the same. Like I have vision for every home, and I'm like, wow, I see backwoods country, bring your horse. We're going to have like Chris Stapleton vibes, goats. But then other ones are super modern and trendy. Like we had 2 really big tech guys that lived in this it was on Da Vinci, and it had a very modern, sleek look to it. And I was like, we're going to go techie. And he did a video, and it was very like, how would you like to buy this masterpiece? And it looked like a painting, and live on Da Vinci. And everything that we do, it's very tailored to that client and very tailored to that story we're trying to tell. And depends on where you are and who your buyer is and who our audience is. And so I think that when you're doing it like that, as opposed to just, pictures for sale sign, bring someone, you know what I mean? Like
so the theme is that everybody in a service industry listening to this now is, let's provide an experience.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's going to make the deal go smooth.
And know who your client is.
Yeah.
For you guys, it's who, you know, whether buyer or seller, what does that look like? How do you make that experience good for them and tailor it to it? It's no different for us. And, you know, we'll ask a client, how do you like to be communicated to? There's a problem on site. Do you want to text? Do you want to call?
Love that.
Is it both of you? Who's the point person?
I love that.
And you kind of figure out that dynamic of, you know, a husband-wife situation, or, you know, we've had partners, everything else. And you kind of figure out who's the decision maker. Is it both of you? Right. And that's a different dynamic, but you have to really dig in. It's this point of going more than just surface level. You have to actually kind of get in there and figure that out. But it ends up driving up the, you know, maybe what you end up selling for, right? Or what it is the final price is. For us, it's what the experience is. What are they going to go tell their friends and their neighbors when they come and they see their new kitchen? And it was like, well, how was that experience? How was your remodel? Because just like realtors, you guys get the same. 9 times out of 10, everybody's got a horrible story about how something went.
Yeah.
And we want to change that. And I think you guys are doing the same for your industry as what we are. We want to stand out, but we want to stand out in a way that makes people feel good about interacting and having a transaction with us.
Totally.
So I love that. How do you folks go about when you're mentioning about having that change of mindset when you're going in? They go, all you contractors, all you want to do is take my money. Like, how do you, that's what you come up against, right? We don't come up against that aggressively, but we're like, all you realtors are the same. That's what we get a lot of. So immediately you're like, all right, here we go. That clicked nicely. You're like, all right, you know. So then you know where to go from that, because you know your value too. I keep talking about values, but I'm just really big into no one's opinion of someone else is going to change that if you value yourself.
Well, that's the difference between a real entrepreneur and a guy that just has a business as a job.
Right.
Like your value, that's what you're selling.
Exactly.
And they don't get it. They just think I've opened the sign and I'm in business and people are going to come give me all their whatever we're selling or doing.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work that way.
It comes from a place of caring. Like you genuinely care. It's not just, I think you mentioned it, it's not just a job. It's not just that I do one a year. It's like, no, I do this and I do it really well.
Yes.
Right? And I want to show you and I want to perform for that.
It's my life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there.
And what's nice is when you get to do business with other people that are like you, and it just goes so easy. And you're both giving an experience at that point, and you're like, that's a great client. That's a great, person you're, buying from. And that's really cool. And the people that are out there that haven't experienced that, I urge them to look for that.
I love
because
that,
life is going to be much easier and happier for you when you start looking for those experiences instead of looking for a way out or something or the easy.
I think it also comes down to one thing I've seen, and you could just feel it, is your own currency. So you're not going to just jump on the next thing. And I call it shiny coin syndrome, something that I've really worked on, right? Because when you're in an industry and you're building a business, you're like, you're thinking of revenue, thinking of profit share, you're thinking of everything, cash flow, and it's important to every business. But if you jump on the next project because you think it's going to be a quick deal versus is it aligned, do I know my currency? That's the biggest thing. We've seen situations where clients are like, you should do it this for 0.5% because my buddy down the road's going to do it. And we're like, that's a different experience if you want that. So your own currency and then you share that and you show exactly what the difference is. That's who people we want to work with. I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Yes.
It takes a lot of self-confidence and a lot of people don't have that, but that's something you got to work on.
You got to build it.
You got to build it.
Time.
Like you said, what do we say when people come in and go, you're trying to take all my money or whatever?
Yeah.
It just goes one ear and out the other, and I know what to say with that. It's just a fluid conversation at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to have a lot of those to get to that point.
Yeah, you have to look in the mirror and you have to say, I'm okay with saying no to that because that's not back to value. That's not my value and that's not what I value my time. And being okay with that. We've had to do that. And you grapple with that decision because you're like, God, this feels really bad because I'm turning away work.
Right.
Yeah.
But the caveat I always put in the back of my mind is that every time we've done that, there's been a better job that's come along every time. And it plays out that way because it's like, if I'm not feeling good about this, there's probably a reason why. And I need to be okay with letting that go. And that only comes after time and experience and being okay with sitting in that.
That comes with faith.
That
in different
too.
every area of your life. That comes in everything. Right?
Across the board, business, everything. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a hard place to be.
And what you have to think about too is just the time alone and energy that it takes to work with someone that maybe isn't aligned with what it is that you're trying to achieve. You could almost have 3 more clients in the time that it took that you spent on this one terrible situation. And so I remember I had a coach from Orange County, and he was listening in on some of the agents in their terrible experiences, and he's like, man, to me that sounds like a terrible client and that you didn't have enough business like elsewhere, because why on earth would you take that? And that always kind of stuck with me, as if there's someone that comes to me and it's that one person, like, why kill myself to align with them when I could just go get like 4 more that could easily be in my same wheelhouse? Like, we hustle for what we do, and the clients that appreciate us, it starts to just come. So I think that people get focused on that one deal and they don't really care if it looks terrible because that's what they're used to. I don't know if that makes sense.
So if you don't want to have to take that bad deal, you better hustle hard so you have options.
Exactly.
You should not be complaining over one deal. That means that you're not doing... Well, no, I don't want to say because everyone's working hard, but I mean that fixating on that one problem, you should have been able to have more clients, because if you knew your own currency, and that comes with experience as well, but you should be in a flow state. If you're forcing things, this is something I've learned in business. If you force things, it never happens. You're meant to be in the flow state. And that, again, comes with alignment. It comes with faith in yourself. It comes with currency. It comes with value. I know these are buzzwords, but it's literally intrinsic to our business kind of leadership values. That's exactly how we lead ourselves every day.
More and more successful people that we've had sit in here have the same sort of thought.
Yes.
So if you are listening to this podcast from start to now, you could see that pattern.
Yeah. There's an overarching theme.
Yeah.
So, Candace, you mentioned it, and I think, your guys' background, coming from Huntington Beach, coming to Sacramento, those are 2 very vastly different markets. They're exactly the same. We have a great ocean view here. It's perfect. Tell us what the difference has been for you guys coming back into a market. You're from here. You know the region. You know the area. Mm-hmm. How is it coming to Sacramento and selling a luxury experience when, I don't know, somebody's probably going to get mad at me for saying this. Sacramento, I think most people don't consider luxury.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's just on face value. Yeah. You're not the Bay. Right. You're not tech. You're not Southern California. Mm-hmm. I think we get overshadowed.
Right.
You're not, you're the capital.
We're not big city vibes.
Exactly. Yeah. So how do you do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think 2 parts to get us to where we are. AJ and I, we both have a really strong background in like hustle culture. Like in Orange County, you have to hustle hard to be a good agent. There is no onesie twosie agents because like, how do you afford to live?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's so stinking expensive there. So the level of service that you have to provide your clients plus the level that they expect, because I mean, the high level execs there are like high level execs. They're making money. So when you're talking with them, I mean, sometimes you're getting approval from their advisors before you can even move money and rent. There's just so many more layers to it. Mm-hmm. So that taught me like another level of high end and luxury service. And when I came here, I took them part of kind of what was considered the high level. And I was like, oh, this is the level of service that we're giving people that is considered high level. Like, wow, we could really crush it. And so that's when kind of our brand and our name and everything was born, because I feel like there's a lot of money that's coming here from Southern California, from the Bay, people that are coming from other bigger cities that just want more space. They're just kind of over being on top of each other for that high price value. Yeah. There are some people that love it and they will die on that hill. You know, they thrive on that busyness. But we are getting a ton of clients that for the lifestyle, it is very clean. We have great school districts, you know, again, with the space. People are into compounds now more, like multifamily situations. And I feel like we see a lot of that with our high level clients. So taking what I learned from Southern California, having like that extreme level of customer service, and then adding that into the Sacramento area, I think that's just what's done really well for us. And same thing with AJ's background. He wasn't in real estate. He was in tech, but we both lived in LA together. So his clients were still high end. And before that, it was Bay Area.
I built a tech recruitment company from literally my laptop to making it turn over, you know, close to $1 million in the first year. And, you know, that's where I knew I could just put me in a jungle, I'll come out with a cheetah on my head. You know, that's kind of my mindset. Or
I'm getting a mental picture here.
You know, or I know someone who would be able to do it and leverage that. So in business, it's all about understanding leverage and understanding where your proposition is. And for us, I think she has an excellent marketing, storytelling background. I saw the opportunity when I actually evaluated Sacramento, and you might have done this yourself, right? Coming from SoCal, smart money moves here. So Bay, boom or bust, they're buying tech stocks, the physicians, they will buy their second homes here. Secondly, people want land and space. Where is that now? It's in the foothills of Sacramento, the most affordable, best public schools. So analytically, this was a very hot spot for real estate. I did my evaluation, I looked at it, and I just knew that we could make the level of service here really up to the criteria. So we are bringing that hustle from LA, SoCal, that high level touch point service, kind of white glove caliber here.
And the response has been nice.
It's been nice. And I think the thing is, it's just, we don't just rest on our laurels. It's not like we're waiting for the phone to pick up. We're going actively out there to get business. So that's where I was.
Yeah, and that's deep rooted from being in busy areas. Mm-hmm. I think when we came here, we were just used to it. We didn't know anything else other than that. If you're going to do it, you do it right, you know, and you hustle hard to get to where you need to be.
You're the only person I knew here. you and your family. You know, so
that's true. Yeah. That's very true. But no, we love it. We love it almost more now. We went to Newport Beach not that long ago because my sister lives there, and we go to San Diego quite a bit.
We missed it. We love
I'm like, oh, dang, you forget about the traffic, the time it takes to get places. You know, it's just, we are kind of spoiled now. We live in this perfect little bubble. We do love it.
It's nice. Yeah. It's nice. What is the big shocker when you started? Like, what was like, oh... There's something had to jump that you weren't expecting.
Septic systems. Septics and wells and leach lines.
Country bumpkin out here? What is this?
I'm the Indian cowboy now.
I was saying, they don't have that, right?
Exactly. We've learned way more about,
So we are the country estate specialists. We know, you know, so obviously we knew about easements and, you know, property rights and, you know, all riparian rights, all those nuances, but septics and wells and country and And, these are 1800 developments, right? So you've got shared water lines and
PCWA water rights, really digging into that on certain properties.
So knowledge is power. So that was something that struck me. And then obviously, prices here, what you can get for $2 million compared to LA, you're like, wow.
We do not.
We're positioning that helped us, get buyers who would see the way we perceive it. So that allowed us to.
And you guys put a lot out on like lifestyle and your lifestyle and why. I think what I could see as somebody who would buy from you, you're living the lifestyle you're selling.
Yeah.
You guys put it out there. You guys go out on the trails. You're with your kids. You're like, this is a great space. I want that, right? Like, I look at that. I'm like, oh, I used to go on that trail too. Like, and so I think that you guys do a great job of this isn't just, we're not just selling you something as a transaction.
We live it.
We live it, right? And when it goes back to passion. When you're passionate about it, it makes it easy to sell. Because you're like, hey, this is amazing.
Well, that's because of we can't go anywhere now without a camera. Quickly do a video. I'm like, great, I just want to do this trail.
I feel you on that one. Yeah. That's Steve for us. Yeah, I got that.
We'll talk about that offline.
Can we get a support group? Yeah, exactly. I'm not ready for that. Okay, you guys.
But that's another thing in business now. You can't just be, I'm on my laptop. You got to be out there. People got to feel, like you said, hey, I feel like I could buy from you because I actually, I'm not saying that everyone comes up, but some folks come up to me in the gym, hey, I saw your content. It's awesome. And you're like, oh, amazing. It's actually reaching to the people in my sphere and then expanding people that I didn't even know who's interacting with me every day. So you become kind of not like saying we are the local, but you want to be the local celebrity in a good way and being an ambassador for your community and sharing what's here and sharing that in real estate.
We know the client because our clients kind of live a similar lifestyle to us. We know when they're mentioning, everyone is always like 80 or 50, okay, well, tell me about yourself. I can help you to pinpoint. Okay, so you sound more like you're 80. This is why, so that's very different. It's
that's
so
the
funny.
Highway, by the way.
El Dorado Hills. Literally.
I knew what you were going with. We got you. Yeah,
literally. I mean, people think, like, if you're coming here from the Bay Area, everyone thinks El Dorado Hills, Granite Bay, Loomis, Folsom, that it all is very similar because on a map, it looks like it's just right there. It's
on
very
the way
close
to
proximity.
Tahoe. That's one thing. Right? On the way to Tahoe.
Yeah. So, but we find people that come here all the time and we're like, actually, the areas you're looking at are very different. And what you like to do in each community is very different.
Each one has its own vibe. So, Granite Bay, Roseville, compared to like Auburn, and I can finally say that word again. I couldn't say the.
He could say Auburn for a long time. It is the English accent.
Auburn. You got to say it correctly. I'm like Auburn. I'm like I can't say it. So
we should send you to the South. It'd be fun.
Literally.
I think that's good though, but it goes back to tailoring what your clients need and figuring that out and really digging in.
Exactly.
I think that's really important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that we have talked about, and I think would help our audience, because a lot of our audience are also builders, and we get referrals all the time from realtors that have seen our open house or have come. They'll come to my open house. Tell me what my client needs to do. Right? Shed some light on that world for us, because sometimes for us it's a hard line to walk, because here you have a buyer who's like, I'm going to offer this. You have a seller who wants a certain price. Right. And we come in there and we just blow up the deal, right? Because we're like, you got to redo everything. You got all these problems. Yeah. Walk us through when you have, as a contractor, a referral from a realtor. How do you navigate that? What would be your advice to our builders?
I think having a pretense call with the realtor who's ever introducing, just to get a sense of things. You don't want to be going into the border trying to shop because you've got so much knowledge. And like you said, blow up the deal. It's more about, okay, what's the reason you're using us and what do you need from us, and qualify that up front. The realtor might have a different perspective to the buyer and the seller, so you want to make sure everyone's aligned, okay? If you're on the buyer's side, obviously you're trying to see, hey, does this make sense for me to be at the price I'm at right now, and would my ROI be here? So it's up to you to partner. I look at everything as a partnership. I don't look at a vendor as a subcontractor, and this is we're all one team. We're all here to do the same thing, but let's align with what that outcome is, and let's set the expectation from the front. So I think that's key there.
And I honestly wish that more people would talk to people like you guys before they make those financial decisions, because it's a lot of money, and your house is an asset just like anything else. And if you take care of it, it will appreciate. But there are many times over that we have gone through houses that people are ready to sell, and we look at what they've done to it and we're like, that cost you how much? And that was not a good ad value. Yeah. Now they're like, oh, I'm going to lose money on this. I'm like, yeah, because that choice you just made, nobody else cares about besides you. And it was like not a good choice. So I think it's way more effective if there is a client that wants to do something like a remodel or a renovation or build out, that they are talking with someone that can educate them on the money they're putting into something. That way it will be a return on their investment, because not always is that the case. Just because you dump money into something doesn't mean that that's what the value is later on. Depends on what the decision was.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I have a great story for that. It was a client brought us in. They were closing the deal, buying a house in Granite Bay. Deal was done. It needed a full update. It was a early 2000s, just Granite Bay special, Tuscan, columns, crazy ornate details. And the client's like, I like it for the location and I like it for the size. Other than that, I hate everything inside. And the sellers changed out to Taj Mahal countertops before they put it on the market. These brand new countertops. Yeah. And we're going through, the seller's moving out and the client's there with us, and the seller overheard us talking about what was going on and that they were demoing the whole kitchen. And she's like, we just put all these countertops in. And they spent like $40,000 in countertops.
That's not cheap,
on cabinets that were builder grade from 2000s that looked terrible and needed to come out anyway.
So I think that's on the realtor. So that's me about educating, you know, because the client's thinking, hey, I'm going to get my ROI here. We say, do not touch it, because it comes like whack-a-mole. I've remodeled this bathroom, and, you said a lot of your builders, clients will listen to this. Please advise. And you do a great job with this, folks. I had you and Steve walk through a lot of our properties, and you're like, hey, this is not going to make sense unless you gut the whole thing, right? Yeah. Or you make everything seamless and it comes across like a full remodel. Because what we've also seen is the kind of hodgepodge. Oh, I've got 3 bathrooms. I've got 1 bathroom remodeled. I've got kind of a kitchen here, and it just makes the place even less attractive.
Yeah.
So it's about setting that expectation up front. Like, hey, and then is the neighborhood, is the ROI here? If I do remodel my kitchen, and is that going to make sense for me to put $100,000 on the price tag when I'm going to go list it? So I would say it goes back to that elite realtor to say, hey, do not put $40,000 Taj Mahal, because whoever's going to do this is going to remodel and change out those columns, etc. So,
it's amazing to me, but we will get clients that will tell us, we don't use baths. Our kids don't, our kids are grown. We don't need a bath or everything else. But I want this one bathroom to be, to have a shower tub combo for resale. Right. And I'm like, hey, let's have this conversation. You don't use a bath.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I can tell you, I get clients every day that call us that buy a house new, and you know what they ask us to do? Gut the entire thing. So it doesn't matter. Right. Put in what you want.
Exactly.
And having that conversation. We have that all the time, because people are constantly asking us, I'm going to remodel this. I want it for what I want, but I want somebody else to like it in the future. I'm sorry to tell you this. They don't care. Just put in what you want, because they're going to gut it anyway.
Right. That's so true. I love that. I love that you say that, because a lot of people are chasing status sometimes as well. They're like, hey, but I want this standalone tub. I saw this in the Architectural Digest. You're like, how practical and functional is that? And is that also going to close off your buyer pool? Because not everyone wants this standalone tub in the corner of the thing. It's just the way you kind of give that information. So I love the way you do
lifestyle versus investment, right?
Exactly.
That's the one they got to think about, and that's where you educate them. That's your deal. So that's the difference.
Yeah. There you go. You filled it
out. It's like you've been paying attention. Jerry, good job.
I'm learning a lot today.
I think that is so true. Do you think that upfront conversation of don't put in the countertops, or don't do this bathroom, don't do this remodel, does that make it challenging on the contractor-realtor relationship? Do you think that those pull at each other?
No, I think if you're a good realtor, then you can align well with a good contractor. And equally so, if you're a terrible contractor, then your realtor might see that and be like, I don't know if I would move with that, But if you're a bad realtor, you might not know the difference between a good contractor.
Right.
It makes it harder for the client. You know what I mean? It makes it hard for the client. So that's why, when you align with us, like AJ was saying, we have fully vetted our vendors. And if there's someone that is not done well for one of our clients. Like, they are off the list.
Yeah,
so
we give them a 2-strike process, but we have to evaluate what happened. Obviously, you can't just go in and say you're off, because there's folks that have been with us since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand what was, again, we take accountability, and using all the, you have to take accountability. You have to have the responsibility to say, I'm introducing you to this vendor. First, I had to set the expectation of what are we trying to achieve here.
Yeah.
And then everyone has to have the accountability from the vendor side to us as well.
Yeah.
But I think, like what you mentioned, is it does make it difficult for the contractor, because the contractor has the real numbers, right? And they know, the business knows what the business is, because you're an expert in your field, just like we're an expert in our real estate. So what I would say is, it comes back to the objective. What is the objective here? And setting that expectation. So I'll keep going back to that. It just keeps coming back to what are we trying to achieve? You're an expert in your field. You stay in your side, but I also want to partner with you here. It's not like you go and tell me this bid and I'm going to go back to my seller.
Yeah.
Let's understand what that bid means and how we can kind of get you the business to win the bid. And also, does this make sense for my seller or buyer or whatever side that would be?
Well, as the expert, what in Sacramento, what renovations move the needle?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, I mean, you have to think of where the heart of the home is, right? So the kitchen. And then if you have a family, functionality, is there enough storage? A lot of people around here want garage space. So, if there's a massive 5,000 square foot house or 4,000 square foot house and you've got a 2-car garage, there's a problem, because you probably have kids in this house. This is a massive home. They're going to drive one day.
That's called functional obsolescence on the real estate exam then.
But literally, though, so you have to think about where people spend their time. Master bedrooms, master bathrooms. A lot of people or, builders back in the day, they would put in 3 bedrooms with 1 tiny shared bath down the hall. Now people hate that, because they're like, oh, can't all of my kids have, they're always trying to figure out how to create more of an ensuite situation, or at least 2 of the bedrooms need to have their own bathroom. So not everyone is sharing
So
that.
it's functionality.
Yeah,
overall.
exactly.
Layout,
So overall,
keeping the flow of things, not saying so much feng shui, but hey, can we live and have our own space? There's different tiers to it. There's the luxury market that has its own, you mentioned the 6-car garages and, blah, blah, blah. But that's such a loaded question. It's a great question, but there's so many, again, it comes from different areas, need different things. We're seeing a lot in the foothills where people want more acreage. Acreage is now the new flex.
Yeah.
I got 3-5 acres is the new, hey, I've got the 7,000, 10,000 square foot home now.
Yeah.
And that's changing over the last, I'd say, 5 years here. So people want space, they want privacy.
It's 3 to 5 what people kind of want.
I'd say that's the Goldilocks.
Yeah, that's bread and butter. Yeah, we've sold
Two to
so
five.
many
2
off
to
markets
5.
recently that are like in and around 5 acres. We just sold one off Brennan's, which is relatively near you guys, where you're doing Country Road, and she got 50,000 over what she wanted, and she didn't even have to go on the market.
Went
with
into
it.
a bidding war. And that comes from strategic positioning, knowing that acreage is value now and it is gold, literally gold. Then you have the water rights, and you're able to position that of why would people want the privacy. And then folks who are coming from the Bay Area, they got to understand what that nuances mean. So you're able then to give that information to them and why it's so liquid gold with the water rights and etc. So people think they want 10 acres. That comes into more commercial grade.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You gotta work
and
that
then
ranch.
You're like, then you become a farmer, right?
Yeah. So, hey. Some of us are farmers over here, okay?
I want to be. I want goats.
Hey, we like it.
We need to stop this conversation. She's going to go into horses right now.
Just come on over, Candace. It's fine. We got you a spot. It's all good.
Goats and chickens. Yeah.
I love that. And it's amazing what the buying power is to that. You said, right? Yeah. What will get you 5 acres and a selling price here
to
the Bay. I mean, it's you're like, wow, this is amazing how much my money can go farther, it seems like. Do you think Sacramento is the new up and coming for that? Do you think it's an untapped resource, what you guys are selling?
I think smart money moves here. Like I keep moving them smart money.
Smart why? Because they know value again.
Yeah. Well, they're not paying the Atherton private schools. They're not in Saratoga. Like I'm talking about the Bay mostly, right? And let's just say SoCal as well. Private schools there are very, high level. You have to pay the tuition fees, etc. So where do you get the best public schools, the most safety, not too much? And I'm talking about the greater Sacramento area, and also downtown Sacramento is untapped a lot right now because of the commerce that's happening with the government jobs. Also, what we're seeing a lot of is the medical field is exploding over this way. We have the largest aging population of 50-year-olds in Carmichael in that condensed Fair Oaks area. We're noticing the main buyers right now are 55 55 plus year olds who are consolidating their businesses and selling, and they're buying houses for family compounds so their kids can inherit it.
Yeah, there's a lot of building and a lot of growth.
So there's a lot of growth happening, but there's also long-term thinking because of where the property markets have been. And, you know, folks who are coming up in the ages are saying, well, why don't we just buy a family compound rather than buy a multi-family situation? So we're seeing that a real index.
So Sacramento's not in a recession. We're all right. Because people are tripping, you know, people are, and they look to real estate first going, what's the movement out there?
I think we're in a labor recession.
I think we have a decent amount of buyers. It's just that they're picky. They're on the fence. They know what they're looking for and they're willing to wait it out. But equally though, we have low inventory. So I think that's keeping us kind of along
We're still
for the
missing
ride.
40% of our inventory from the last, you know, we're not going to look at pandemic levels because that's different, but let's just say even we're about 30% off the mark from inventory popping up because a lot of sellers who are holding a lot of equity are still stuck at the 2% rate mindset, right? They've refinanced, etc. Yeah. When you mention recession, I keep saying this, is we're in a labor recession. We're in that transition period just for the industrial area where AI has taken so many mid-tier jobs. So that market, which would really influence the real estate commerce over this way, would be management roles for Intel. They've been laid off. Everyone's holding tight. That's why the new builders are really struggling right now. And that 500 to 600 mark, they move. Anything from 7 to 9 is struggling in new builds right now. So we're in a labor recession where AI is transitioning. And then that's why luxury is doing so well, because guess who's using AI to consolidate labor costs?
The guys, they just fired everybody.
And now they just fired everyone.
Some money to spend.
So they're buying their 5 acre
that's the
estate,
thing. So I was going to say, there's different levels to that, right? Like a lot of our clients, they aren't as fazed by it because this is still... You're seeing, I would say, more contingent offers we put into place that we just closed 3 of them where our sellers needed to sell in order to purchase. Yeah. So there's people that aren't wanting to, because rates are a little bit higher, so they're trying to take what they have and put as much down so that way they're not strapped with such a high payment.
Deals are out there. You just got to kind of work for them a little harder.
Oh, yeah,
When did you guys move up here?
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've been here a long time, and I see a lot of people that started their business in COVID or right before COVID and kind of in that realm that had this big jump, and they go, my shit don't stink, I'm the best. Yeah. And right now things have leveled out and they're freaking out.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. And I think right now is what Sacramento has always been. Now you have to work for your deals and you have to earn your money.
Yeah.
And the last 5-6 years has been funny money and people floating off all this other interest. Now you got to show who's who. Yeah. And you got to, your colors got to come out.
Jet ski money.
See, we kind of
jet ski money. It's been a lot. So there's a lot of guys go, oh my God, I'm slowing down. Well, you were living off the scraps the good guys didn't want.
Didn't take.
See, we love that because when I was in COVID selling homes in Los Angeles, I put an offer up against 29 others and had to get it accepted. 9, 11, like we're not talking 5. We're talking how can I and our offer was chosen because she created a letter, and thank the Lord my couple went to art school at the same school that she was familiar with, and they're both dancers. So we were so competitive during COVID in the most competitive area. So you had to work hard and differentiate yourself.
So it's nothing for you to be competitive.
So no. So when we came
here, the guys that are here, they haven't done that yet.
The
hustle. They haven't done that.
We close. Yeah. You know, we've had biggest months and we're like, where's our next deal coming from? We have a mindset of never being complacent because what we want to do is it's not like, we want to work 80-hour weeks. We want to work smart, but we also want to know that, hey, we never turn off the tap. We have to keep going. We love it. We absolutely love what we do. It's not the fact I never have a Monday. I say this on every, I just don't have a Monday. I used to wake up and take, another Monday. And I used to be in corporate America and work for VCs and have a boss. Here I'm like, I get to meet beautiful people from all walks of life. I get to see these beautiful houses. I get to meet people where they're at, help them. So it never feels like work to me, but we never ever want to slow down. We have that fundamental of we cold call 2 hours a day. I know we shouldn't say this on the, but we do a lot of proactive sourcing for our business. It's not like we just sit there and go, hey, we made it and here's our marketing. We try to create those fundamentals that are intrinsic to our business. So value and then also hustle.
Yeah. You guys are, I mean, that's how we met, right? You legitimately saw an Instagram reel that we put out about being a husband and wife in business and that dynamic and how we met. And that's, you guys reached out to us. I mean, I think you picked up the phone and called the office and we're like, hey, what's the chances that I could get a meeting with Heather and Steve? This is what we do. And you related to Jen so well. And Jen's like, you need to meet with them. And it's been true. And I think it goes back to your point.
Shout out to Jen.
Jen's the best. Man, you know, Jen's the best. We love Jen.
But that's so true. But that's, again, it comes to that alignment because I felt like, hey, we got to get to know this business. So, Candace, these folks are exactly like us. They have this, and I just felt like you had the same level of service
for your clients.
I was like, we need to meet you.
Very similar
that's
mindset.
Where I was at.
For sure. And then we ended up, like, coincidentally, we had a client that we had interviewed us, hadn't bought a house yet.
Right.
You know, like when we buy something, we're going to use you guys. And it was like 6 months later, they called us like, hey, we bought this house. We've already closed on it. Can you guys come out? We want to start the process. And then as we were working through, we come to find out they're your clients. Like you guys were the realtor. And it's so amazing because it's the perfect example of the client, and they're great clients. They're just the best.
Amazing,
they're great clients.
And that was an off-market house, too.
And that was an off-market. They followed and they trusted the people that said that they were going to do what they were going to do, deliver. And as each step has come, it's been just such an enjoyable process for them because they've aligned themselves with the right people.
And the way they speak about you folks, like, you know, we never hear contractors being spoken to in the light, the way they shine. Like how we've just been, you know, exactly. So that gives us more trust again. So it's an ecosystem that we're creating. And that's that key element of like, hey, are we all aligned? Are we in the ecosystem? And you naturally bump into each other.
Because you're putting out the same things in the world. And I think, you know, Jerry, you do a good job about this too. It's like you put it out there, not expecting it back, but because you're like, hey, you know what? You seem like you have the right, you know, core values. You're going to do what you say you're going to do. And I'm going to put it out there, you know?
Yeah.
Because
and eventually you end up in that ecosystem and all the rest of the guys are that you were maybe with that they're gone.
Right.
You know, and you never have that fight anymore. That build fight, you know, you're in the ecosystem now. And it feels good, you know. You asked the question in the beginning, like, when you come across somebody that goes, oh, contractors are trying to take all your money. I don't get those questions very often anymore because I'm in the ecosystem of like-minded people.
And you've come referred, you've come, hey, Jerry's the man, you guys work with Jerry.
14 years of hard work to get there, but like, I got another 25 left, so it's nice to at least be in the ecosystem now. You know, but life is easier when you're in the ecosystem, but it took a little effort to get there.
It does.
You know?
Yeah. So let's talk about the clients that maybe aren't in the ecosystem. Let's talk about...
They tricked to get in the ecosystem and screwed it all up and we had to kick them out.
Yeah. So how do you guys handle that? How do you handle the unrealistic expectations? How do you do that? Because you guys are straight shooters. You're like us. You're going to tell the 100%. Truth. So walk us through what that looks like. Because I think people are afraid to have that conversation.
I mean...
Do you want to go on that one? Because I think you're excellent, the way you kind of evaluate that situation.
Yeah. I mean, everyone I feel like approaches this differently because that kind of depends on, you know, who you are. But for me, I like to kind of create a visual picture for my clients. Like, hey, this is you here now. Imagine if you XYZ. Are you willing to let this go because of that? Like, let's talk this through logistically. And most times, 9 out of 10, if we're dealing with a client that is thinking like somewhat rationally, they'll follow along and they kind of understand. And even though it might be like a tough pill to swallow up front, kind of what we're telling them through negotiations or strategy or pricing or whatever it is, they are kind of like, at the end of the day, you know what, you're right. Maybe my expectation was a little bit unrealistic. And we end up coming to terms with it. And they're kind of like, that was a tough conversation.
We're dealing with that right now.
But I see how much time I wasted in the past, like staying on that hill with this other agent or, you know, with this other thing. And I see how much time I've lost and what that looked like. So they come around back to you. And clients that don't have that same mindset where we're trying to like talk through it with them and see if it makes sense and they're just stuck in just this unrealistic phase, we're just like, look, we probably aren't going to align on this, and that's fine.
No is more powerful
and we'll
than
walk
yes.
away.
No is more powerful
we're fine
than
with
yes.
walking away if that's the case.
And it doesn't need to be no right now, like complete full stop no. It's the reasons that you give that are no for them to kind of marinate on it. Actually, and mostly clients will come back and say, you know what, you were right. So we get a knee-jerk reaction in real estate. People react versus respond. So it's up to you to kind of assess if it's a reaction or if it actually is a response. If it's a response, that's when you're like, hey, I don't think we're aligned on this side. And I think your question was, how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
You pretty much develop the thickest skin you can possible. And you realize, actually, I shouldn't be tossing and turning at night on this one. You need to understand, again, it comes back to your own currency and what your value is again, and understand, is this person seeing my value? Are they looking at me as a professional here, or are they just looking at me they kind of just looking blank, you know? So that's the key.
Well, it's like, are you being realistic too?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can tell somebody something till they're blue in the face, but unless they're ready to acknowledge it and to accept it, you're not going to go anywhere. So for us, it's, can we give as many facts as possible? Because it always needs to be the client's decision. It will never be our decision.
Exactly.
So we give as many facts as possible as we can, and then we can kind of provide them with the solution of, this is what this looks like, this is what this looks like, this is what this looks like, which land you're going to choose. More than likely.
I have a saying, you investigate like a journalist and you present like a lawyer. I'm not pretending to be a lawyer legally. I'm just saying. I have to put the disclaimers in there. So you have to always investigate like a journalist, and we're too smart in this world to be sold to. You have to give options. So people want things being laid out. If they feel like they're backed in a corner and they're being unrealistic or they're not aligned on that side, then you just say no. You say, look, hey, this isn't the right fit for us for now.
Yeah.
But if you want to think about it, here's the option I will discuss, and we can go down this route, but let me know if you want. And you kind of leave it to them, and probably 90% of the times they come back. 10% they might be stuck in their way, and you knew that wasn't a good client. It comes back to, wow, there's bigger fish to fry, or more aligned clients in our ecosystem.
Yeah, with that,
Healthy way.
With that, I don't know how similar we are, because I think that we probably deal with a lot more wins and rejections throughout a transaction. With you guys, I think the client could probably maintain a great experience through the whole thing.
Well, no, you don't.
I mean, you have
I don't know.
It's an emotional roller coaster in reality, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, typically it's like they're excited, and then they, they're going to get mad at us at some point. There's something that happens, or there's unforeseen or something. I mean, they
discover something that was an unknown.
Somebody messes up, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all people, right?
That's
there's
true.
so many people that touch a remodel or touch a new build that it's like somebody screwed up, and so now you got to go apologize for that. Like there's always something, and so it's a journey. It's an emotional roller coaster, and I think you guys have the same thing too. Though when people get hot or they get upset, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to set boundaries with that, and that's a hard. That's a hard conversation of like, this is when I'm turning it off. I'm not working now. I'm not with my, with my family. These are my working hours, right? Like you guys have those struggles.
And you're accessible because then it comes down to the experience of like, hey, you can reach me, but we have to set those boundaries. You have a family, etc. So I totally get
Do you think clients are respectful for that? I think we do a good job of telling a client. Like we have a 13-page guide of what to expect during construction.
Oh, I love that.
And down to what time we start, to what our working hours are.
Oh, I
have a do and don'ts of how to be a good client and how to be a terrible client.
I might take that from you.
And you know how I got that? Because I put all the things on there about what people do that make them crappy clients, right? And you set that expectation of like,
do up front.
Yeah, like, if we discover something and, we might need to do your bathroom model, don't walk another contractor through our active job site.
Right.
Like, that just doesn't rub us well.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, we all have those things.
So you set that. I love that. That's such a great idea. We should
I mean, well, we set the expectation up front. They know we have kids. That's our biggest, like, we have to protect our time from when our nanny leaves at 3 until dinner's done at 6 and I'm getting ready for bed. That's like our prime hours with the girls. And then a lot of times we do kick back on at like 8 or 8:30, and we'll text clients or calls or whatever till 10. But they understand if it's that urgent to you, then you have to be willing to wait till my baby's in bed. Otherwise, we could do it tomorrow morning. But
our industry is a little bit different because we have offer deadlines and we have to get back to so what we try to do is we seamlessly, and it's not just that we have a head of operations, Keith, amazing, and we actually have a seamless experience in the back. So our clients don't know how many fires we're putting out. They just see the end result. Like we always say, don't have expectations. Expectations set, yes, with your clients, but on the deal side, just have the highest standard. Expectations takes care of itself. Set the expectation with your client, yes, but keep to the level of standards. The hardest thing for us, and it's a balancing act, is you have to be accessible when you need to be, but then, yes, you set the boundaries, say, like 3 to 6, I'm offline.
Yeah.
But I'll be back on at 9.
Yeah.
And that's where the gym I was trying to get up at 4 a.m. That doesn't happen anymore.
That's hard.
I mean, this is really good. If people listening, entrepreneurs, any sort of business owner out there, I mean, if they listened to everything that went on this last hour, these references and messages that you guys have given are fantastic. But give us the one overall theory before we bounce. Like, what is it? If you could tell a guy coming up, what is that one thing that you guys could give him that make his business run smoother?
I mean,
I want to think about that because that's a loaded
I think it's
question.
time management. I think that to be productive, you really have to be able to manage your time well. And if you want to build a business, there has to be structure to it. So I think that's a mindset. I think a lot of people, we all have the same hours in the day. So tell me why. There's people that are doing the same thing, but they're super successful, and these people aren't. It's time management. It's what they're doing with their day. You know what I mean?
Time management comes with when we started the business, we didn't have time management, right? So it comes with levels of. I look at it like Mario Kart. Like you unlock levels, right? Like you got to be okay. When I first start, I'm all in. But how do I get to the level where I can hire a head of ops, or I can hire this? I unlock myself. I look at this change. I'm like, now I'm going to delegate, and that's another question. But I would say. Why did you start the business? Always remember your why. I know it's Simon Sinek and it's a typical thing. It's your mindset. When you start a business, don't go into a business because your friend started a business and you want to start a business. Don't start a business because you thought you heard Dave Ramsey say something, right? It's all about you and your why are you really starting this business? And that's something you have to remind yourself every day, whether it's for your kids, your financial freedom. And that intrinsically goes back to why I start every day. Yeah. That's what I would say to that person.
I like that.
That's true.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's true. So we do a little thing at the end of the podcast where we try to figure out most of the time who's more important in the room. Usually it's Jerry. So I'm gonna
problems. More problems.
No, more important. We go with more important. So I need you to check your phone.
Okay.
And we're gonna do a tally of who has the most text messages and phone calls in the room.
Oops.
Oh, mine's gonna be terrible.
Ooh, I might win today.
Is this unread?
Win today. Unread.
Oh.
Unread.
Well, then, yeah, you don't even want to know.
What did you get while we were in here for the last?
Oh, just
hour?
for the day. Okay,
Yeah. No, not like
4.
in general.
I got 4 unread messages.
4 messages.
Yeah,
okay.
4 messages. But my WhatsApp, no joking. That's pretty
I have
much it.
7.
7?
Seven's
Ooh.
good. I got 5 texts and 3 missed calls.
Ooh, I got 8 texts and 3 missed calls.
Wow.
Something's on fire. It's me today. Dang, I never win this game.
Heather
I don't
wins.
know.
Better get on the road.
I gotta go, guys. I'm
Something's
out.
That's
Something's
really
on
good.
fire.
Thanks
so.
for having us, though. It's been awesome.
Thanks, you guys.
You guys are great.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
So, for the listeners, where can they follow along, check it out? You guys put a lot on social media, so where can they find you?
So, AJ_Samrai Properties for Instagram.
Yeah, Candace.Samrai or Samrai Properties for Instagram, Facebook. We also have LinkedIn and SamraiProperties.com for our website. We're on
Yeah.
YouTube too. All of it, honestly.
Everywhere. Just type Samurai Properties, you'll find us. And we are happy to answer any questions that you might have for the episode, or if you had any real estate matter interest,
Yeah, send
give
us
us
a message.
DM.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.